without further ado, we're going to go ahead and let's rock with the homie, Wayne Akbar Pray. What's good, man?
What's up, Nick?
Cool,
How you doing, my brother?
Man. Man, brother, it's been a long time coming, man. We actually got to hear about you, man, from I believe your nephew, A. Beasley, man. He was a part of the Venus Music Talk radio staff, and he told us about you, probably over a year ago, man. And it's a blessing that we finally got you on. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I don't want to talk too much, man. I just kind of want to get right to it, man, because I know your time is very precious,
Yeah, they got us allocated a little bit.
Right. So, man, just starting off, man. Also, you're on the phone with my man Brandon. He's the owner and CEO of this station, and you've been doing big things, man, and helping everybody out in the Bay Area and actually over the world, man. So you're on live all over the internet, man.
Blessed to see you, man. Glad to have you on.
Listen, it's my pleasure, Brandon.
Right. Basically, man, I'm kind of combine the two questions into one right now. We talk a lot on our shows, about, upbringing, and upbringing to me is important in helping to develop, a person, whether it be a man or a woman. But, your upbringing, how you were brought up is definitely something that plays a big hand in, your outcome, in life as you get grown. So basically what I want to ask you right now is, give us a little history on your upbringing, and basically from the time you were raised and until now, how do you think that affected your decisions, in life, basically?
Well, in a lot of ways, Hanif, my story is not a lot different from everybody else's, but in a lot of ways it's very different. I was raised basically in a drug environment, like a lot of people. I think that one of the things that I probably benefited from is that back in the day, a lot of the drug abusers were intellectuals. They were highly literate. And so I was around guys that in between nards, they was quoting Shakespeare. They was talking about Cayenne. They was talking about Kipling. So it gave me sort of an appreciation for poetry and a love for reading. I think that was one of the things that probably put me on the path of, having an inquisitive mind and wanting to do a little more and read a little more and understand a little more. But absence that, like I said, like most people, the police used to kick our door in once a week. My family was in the drug business. They kept the stash in my pajamas. If somebody wanted to cop, when they came to cop at 2 or 3 in the morning, they woke me up and give me 2 bags. Give me 3 bags. So that was my life. My little hustle as a kid, if somebody wanted to get off and they couldn't find a vein, they used to wake me up and I'd find them a vein. I'd help them get a hit.
Wow.
Notwithstanding that, I got an appreciation for literature because I was always a voracious reader. So, I went through that world, and as they say, Nietzsche said that everything that doesn't kill us makes us strong. I think that notwithstanding all of that, there was a benefit in it for me. I learned a lot, I saw a lot, and it made me ultimately become who I became.
Right. So yeah, you were just from the hip, man. You was basically, into the game, So you pretty much.
I was born to it, I was born in it. They were selling dope in my family when I came into the world.
Right.
The members of my family were dope fiends, drug addicts and drug users.
Right.
So that was the world I knew, and like they say, you play the hand you dealt.
Right. Okay, well, let me get on to something else, man. Basically, with you being locked up in the system right now for, 22 years?
22
almost?
years. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
How do you feel, as far as, do you feel like this has molded you into a better person, or has it broken you, or was it like the first 5 to 10 years it was like you were leaning one way, like pretty much forget the world and everybody in it, or
No, I think that's probably when you come to jail. Not to cut you off, Annie. I think that when you come to jail, one of the worst philosophies that you can do is to say, forget the world, I'm all in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to learn how to live in your head. You know, I mean, I'm in the prison, but I'm not of the prison.
Right.
So, did it weaken me? No, it gave me perspective. It gave me a little time, for a lot of time, in my case, for introspection. But it also taught me something that you probably don't get a chance to learn on the outside world because you're running. And it taught me to prioritize. It taught me what's absolutely important. And it made me realize the people that should be important.
From a federal prison.
The people that should be important to me in my life because the people that I was important in their lives.
Right.
Because a lot of times you get support from unlikely places. And a lot of times the places that you expect for them to be, you don't get it, and the places that you would never expect to get it, you end up getting it from. So that's been my experience, but and it's been long and it's been protracted, but I'm not the worse for wear. That's why I said everything that doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Okay, that's a good attitude. That's a great attitude. Now, do you think? I hear that your situation, like, tell us a little, how much can you tell us about your situation as far as, how you got locked up, the people that were involved as far as, the legal officials, and then, I guess, the suppliers that, were, in the business with you, basically supplying you with, the narcotics.
Okay, allegedly.
Allegedly. There we go.
Yeah, allegedly. I was tried on I think the third person in the country to be tried on what they call 848B. That's the super Kingpin statute. Now, the standard 848 that's the Kingpin statute, and that means that you supervise 5 or more people. You made substantial income and resources from narcotics, and you did it over a certain period of time. The super Kingpin statute requires something else. It requires that you made at least $10 million in that 1 year, or you had 150 keys of coke in that time period, or 10 keys of heroin, and that you were the kingpin, that you were the kingpin's kingpin. In other words, you supplied the suppliers. So I was the third person in that to get sentenced under that. One of the things that is required under that statute is that under the regular kingpin statute, the sentence is 10 to life if it's the first offense, and 20 to life if it's the second. Under the super kingpin, there's only one sentence. It's life with no parole. So even with that sentence is considered so egregious that they have to go to Washington first and get an approval to even bring it. As far as the people that I was alleged to involved with, I was involved with a young lady. Her name was Martha Gomez. She was from Colombia. She was extremely well-to-do, extremely well-off. And she ended up getting arrested, I think, in October of 1987 for importation of, I think, 127,000 pounds of marijuana and 1,000 keys of coke.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a high roller. She had islands in the Bahamas and the whole nine. But she was my girl. She was my girlfriend. About 1 year later, after she had been arrested, she agreed to come to a grand jury in Newark and testify against me. And she testified that I had her import from Colombia 200 kilos of coke. So since there wasn't any physical evidence to substantiate, and everything was based upon her word, I was tried on what they call a lifestyle trial. And that means that they look at your lifestyle and say, do you ask the jury, basically, do you think that a person could afford to live like this and not be selling drugs? So it's when they don't have that, it's what is called a dry conspiracy too. When they don't have any physical evidence and they don't have anybody that says that you sold them anything, then this is how they try it. They try it on what they call a lifestyle. So in my particular case, they didn't really bring a lot of witnesses, nobody that could say that I sold them anything. What they ultimately brought was 127 document witnesses. In other words, every place that I spent money during the entire course of like 3 or 4 years, every hotel that I checked into, Helmsley Palace, the Golden Nugget in Vegas, out in California, the Bonaventure, whatever hotel that I was in, they had the desk clerks and them, they subpoenaed them in from all over the country, every place that I went to. Every store that my wife purchased goods or stuff at, they subpoenaed all of them. The people that put my carpet down, the people that rotated my son's wheels on his car, my gardener. They subpoenaed everybody that felt that I spent any cash money with over an 18-month period to show that I had substantial income and resources.